Have you ever stopped to think about how much control you've given away to others? How often do you let the opinions, expectations, and desires of the people around you dictate your decisions? You may feel like you're trapped, stuck in a cycle that isn't your own, waiting for someone to hand you permission to start living the life you want. Well, today is the day that ends. Today we begin reclaiming that power. Today you take back your life. I'm not talking about selfishness in the negative sense. I'm talking about becoming the most important person in your own life. This is about prioritizing your happiness, your dreams, and your well-being above all else. It's time to stop letting others control the narrative. You deserve to live for yourself. Let's talk about how you can do that, starting right now. This isn't just about motivation, this is about action. The moment you decide to take control is the moment everything begins to shift. Are you ready to break free? For years, we've been told that selfishness is bad. Society conditions us to believe that taking care of our own needs is somehow wrong. We're taught that we should always put others first, that being selfless is the highest form of morality. But let me tell you something, that mindset is what's keeping you stuck. You've been led to believe that focusing on yourself is a sign of weakness, but it's actually the key to your strength. Selfishness, when done right, isn't about neglecting others, it's about self-respect. It's about recognizing that your happiness and well-being are just as important as anyone else's. Think about it. If you don't take care of yourself, who will? Why should you feel guilty about putting your needs first when it's the only way to grow and thrive? When you prioritize yourself, you're not being selfish in a harmful way, you're setting the foundation to be the best version of yourself. And when you're your best self, you have more to give to others. So take a step back and ask yourself, what do you truly need to feel happy? To feel fulfilled? Start there and you'll begin to see the transformation unfold. Every day you're bombarded with messages about how you should live your life. From family to friends to society at large, everyone has an opinion on what you should do, how you should act, and who you should be. It's exhausting. You're constantly juggling other people's expectations, trying to fit into a mold that wasn't designed for you. The problem with living for others is that you forget to live for yourself. You lose sight of who you really are and what you actually want. The pressure to conform can be overwhelming, and often it feels like you're not allowed to make your own decisions. Living to please others is like trying to walk while carrying someone else's luggage. It slows you down. It weighs you down. And in the end, you're so caught up in carrying their baggage that you forget to live your own life. It's time to release that weight. It's time to stop living by others' standards and start living by your own. You don't need anyone's approval to be your true self. Let go of their expectations and give yourself permission to thrive. We've all been there, constantly bending over backward to make sure everyone around us is happy. You say yes when you want to say no. You agree to things you don't want to do because you're afraid of disappointing someone, but in doing so, you lose yourself. You sacrifice your own happiness for the sake of keeping others comfortable. But here's the thing, people-pleasing doesn't bring fulfillment. It only brings burnout. When you're constantly putting others' needs before your own, you never have time or energy left to take care of yourself. You're giving and giving but never receiving. Eventually that leads to resentment, burnout, and the feeling that you've lost your sense of self. Ask yourself this, if you keep sacrificing your happiness to please others, who will fight for your dreams, who will stand up for what you want? The truth is, nobody else will. You are the only one who can advocate for your dreams, your desires, and your needs. It's time to stop seeking approval from others and start building the life you want on your own terms. Boundaries are essential for your well-being. They are not walls, they are lines in the sand that say, this is what I need, and this is what I will accept. Setting boundaries is a form of self-respect. When you set boundaries, you're saying that you value yourself enough to protect your time, energy, and peace of mind. But here's the catch, setting boundaries often comes with fear. The fear of rejection, the fear of disappointing others. It's hard to say no, especially when you're used to saying yes to everything, but you have to get comfortable with discomfort. You are not responsible for everyone else's feelings or needs. You are responsible for your own life. So how do you begin? Start small. Practice saying no. Don't apologize for it. You don't owe anyone an explanation for taking care of yourself. Over time, you'll realize that saying no isn't just possible, it's necessary. It's a tool for protecting your peace and ensuring you can show up as your best self, not as a version of you that's been stretched too thin. The world will constantly try to pull you in different directions. There will always be someone or something vying for your attention. But if you don't put yourself first, you'll never have the energy, focus, or clarity to give your best to anything or anyone. Prioritizing yourself doesn't mean ignoring others. It means ensuring that you're your best self before you give to others. Think of yourself as a plant. If you don't water and nourish yourself, how can you expect to grow strong enough to give to others? When you prioritize your own well-being, you're setting the foundation for a healthier, more fulfilling life. Imagine what would happen if you made yourself your #1 priority. How much more could you accomplish? How much more joy could you experience? By putting yourself first, you're setting the stage for success, not just for you, but for everyone around you. You can't pour from an empty cup. So fill your cup first and watch how much more you have to offer. Living authentically starts with understanding who you are and what you truly want. It's about getting clear on your core values and aligning your actions with those values. Too often, we let external pressures shape our lives, living according to someone else's standards or goals. But that's not how you create a life of fulfillment. How many more years will you waste living someone else's life before you live your own? Think about that. You don't want to look back one day and regret not chasing your own dreams, not living in alignment with your true values. It's time to take the steps necessary to create a life that reflects who you truly are, not who others want you to be. It starts with small changes, choosing to do what's right for you, even if it goes against the grain. But over time, those small changes build up, and soon you'll find yourself living a life full of purpose, integrity, and joy. This is your life. It's time to make it count. The most powerful thing you can do is take control of your own life. When you take ownership, you unlock a level of freedom that is impossible to experience. When you let others dictate your choices, your life is your masterpiece. Stop letting others paint it for you. You have everything within you to create the life you want. Don't wait for permission. Don't wait for the right time. The time is now. You are the only one who can shape your future. So step up and take ownership. Taking control starts with small daily decisions, but each choice you make will move you closer to the life you want to live. You don't have to have all the answers right now. You just need to take the first step. You have the power. It's time to stop waiting for permission and start living on your terms. This is it. The moment you've been waiting for, the time to stop living for others and start living for yourself is now. You've heard the call. You know what you need to do. It's time to take action. No more waiting. No more excuses. The life you've always wanted is within your reach, but only if you take that first step. You have the power to change your life starting right now. It's not easy, but it's worth it. The road ahead may be challenging, but you'll never know how far you can go until you take that first step. So will you choose today to stop living for others and start living for yourself? The choice is yours. Now go make it happen. How many times have you put someone else's needs before your own, only to feel drained, overwhelmed, and unappreciated? Have you ever felt like you've been running on empty, trying to satisfy everyone but yourself? Today is the day to change that. It's time to ask yourself a simple question. When was the last time you truly put yourself first? This isn't about becoming selfish in the way society often warns us about. It's about prioritizing your own needs so that you can thrive. In this speech, I'm going to show you how embracing self-care, setting boundaries, and making your own well-being a priority can unlock your potential for happiness and success. Trust me, if you don't start making yourself a priority today, you may miss out on the life you've been waiting for. It's time to stop running on empty. It's time to embrace the power of putting yourself first. For many, the idea of being selfish feels wrong. Society has made us believe that focusing on our own needs is a flaw, a weakness, something to be ashamed of. We associate selfishness with greed, narcissism, and a lack of empathy. But let me ask you this, how can you pour from an empty cup? If you're not taking care of yourself, how can you truly help others, let alone succeed in your own life? The truth is, self-care isn't selfish, it's essential. It's about respecting your own needs, honoring your own worth, and putting yourself in a position where you can grow, thrive, and be the best version of yourself. You can't give your best to anyone if you're not giving your best to yourself first. It's time to redefine selfishness as an act of empowerment. The benefits are clear. When you prioritize yourself, you fill your cup, and only then can you pour into others. This isn't about neglecting others, it's about filling yourself up so that you have something to give. Your personal growth is like a plant. If you don't give it enough sunlight, water, and space, it can't grow. The same goes for you. If you don't give yourself the care and attention you need, how can you expect to grow into the person you want to be? You need to nourish your mind, body, and soul. Neglecting yourself is like trying to grow a plant without water. Eventually it wilts. The power to grow lies within you, but it requires time, energy, and yes, self-care. When you prioritize yourself, you're setting the stage for personal growth, and growth doesn't happen overnight. It's a journey that requires patience. You need to be intentional about investing in yourself, nurturing your dreams, and taking the time to become the person you're meant to be. Without that, you'll remain stagnant. But with focus on your own needs, growth becomes inevitable. That's the power of prioritizing yourself. Boundaries are one of the most important tools you have in maintaining your personal growth. Without them, you risk losing yourself to the demands of others. If you don't set boundaries, others will set them for you, and you'll end up living according to someone else's rules. Imagine what that feels like, constantly being pulled in every direction, constantly putting everyone else first, and feeling like you have nothing left to give. That's not freedom, that's exhaustion. Setting boundaries is not just about saying no to others, it's about saying yes to yourself. It's about protecting your time, your energy, and your peace of mind. And guess what? You don't need to apologize for that. You have the right to create space for yourself. You have the right to prioritize your well-being. The more you practice setting boundaries, the more you reclaim your power. Start with small steps, protect your time, say no when you need to, and honor your own needs. When you do this, you stop living under other people's expectations and start living for yourself. One of the most common traps people fall into is the belief that helping others means sacrificing their own needs. This idea of self-sacrifice sounds noble, but in reality it leads to burnout and resentment. Think about it. You cannot help others if you're drowning yourself. If you're not taking care of your own health, your own happiness, how can you expect to help those around you? You need to focus on yourself first so that you can show up as your best self. When you are strong, energized, and fulfilled, you have so much more to give to others. You will have the strength to lift others up, to be present, and to contribute from a place of abundance rather than depletion. It's not selfish to focus on your well-being, it's necessary. It's not about choosing yourself over others, it's about ensuring that when you give, you're giving from a place of health, not from emptiness. You are the foundation for everything you want to achieve, and if that foundation isn't solid, nothing else can stand. It's time to stop feeling guilty for putting yourself first. The truth is, by prioritizing yourself, you are setting yourself up for success. You're giving yourself the best shot at living a life that reflects your true desires, your values, and your purpose. When you embrace healthy selfishness, you are not only improving your own life, but you're also setting yourself up to make a bigger impact on the world around you. So I challenge you today, start putting yourself first. Create boundaries. Prioritize your needs. Your growth, happiness, and success depend on it. This is the key to living a life full of fulfillment and joy. And remember, you can't help others if you're not strong enough to help yourself first. Today is the day to make that shift. It's time to stop feeling guilty. Your growth, happiness, and success depend on it. How many times have you made a decision based on someone else's opinion, only to realize it wasn't what you really wanted? How often do you catch yourself trying to meet expectations that don't truly reflect who you are? If this resonates with you, then you're not alone. Every day we are bombarded by external forces, society's expectations, family pressures, and the voices of others, telling us who we should be and how we should live. The challenge is, these influences often keep us from living authentically and making decisions that align with our true selves. Today, I want you to pause and ask yourself, who's really in control of your life? By identifying and understanding the forces that shape your decisions, you'll be empowered to break free from these external pressures and live on your own terms. It's time to stop letting others decide your path. The power to create your life lies within you. Now is the time to take control and embrace the freedom that comes with living authentically. We all face external pressures, whether it's from family, friends, or society as a whole. These forces shape our decisions more than we often realize. Think about it. How often do you let someone else's opinion sway you from your true path? Maybe it's a family member who insists on a career choice for you, or a friend who pushes you to fit into a certain social circle. These pressures often come from a place of love or concern, but they can trap you in a cycle of living up to others' expectations instead of pursuing your own happiness. Society also plays a huge role in defining success, happiness, and what's considered normal. We are constantly bombarded with messages telling us how we should look, act, and live. And when we try to break free from these norms, it feels like we're swimming against the current. But here's the truth. These expectations are not your truth. They're not your path. To truly thrive, you need to break free from these external pressures and make decisions based on your own values. Start by identifying what matters to you, not what others expect of you. It's time to stop letting these influences decide your future. You are the only one who knows what's best for you. People-pleasing is one of the most common traps we fall into. We all know the feeling, the fear of disappointing others, the desire to be liked, the need for approval. But let me tell you something, people-pleasing is like trying to carry a 1,000-pound weight on your shoulders while everyone else walks away free. It's exhausting, it's draining, and it keeps you stuck in a cycle of self-neglect and resentment. You might say yes to everyone else while saying no to yourself, but over time this erodes your sense of self-worth. You begin to feel disconnected from who you truly are, and the weight of constantly trying to please everyone becomes unbearable. The truth is, seeking validation from others keeps you from living authentically. You can't please everyone, and trying to do so will leave you feeling empty. To break the cycle, you need to start focusing on self-respect. Set boundaries, say no when necessary, and remember, your needs are just as important as anyone else's. Don't let the fear of disappointing others hold you back from taking care of yourself. Reclaim your power and stop seeking approval from outside sources. The only validation you need is from yourself. Fear is one of the biggest barriers to living authentically. It's the fear of judgment, rejection, and conflict that keeps us stuck in situations that don't serve us. But here's something you need to realize: fear only has power if you let it. What would happen if you stopped letting fear control your actions? What would happen if you stopped worrying about what others think and started living according to your own values? Fear is like a chain that holds you back. It keeps you small, keeps you in your comfort zone, and keeps you from stepping into your full potential. But it doesn't have to be this way. Fear is a natural part of growth, but it should not be the thing that dictates your life. You can face your fear head on. You can break free from the chains that hold you back. The first step is acknowledging the fear, understanding its grip, and choosing to act despite it. Every time you confront your fear, you take a step toward empowerment. And the more you do it, the more confident you become. Don't let fear control you. Embrace it, face it, and use it as fuel to propel you forward. Social media is another powerful influence that often drives comparison and insecurity. The pressure to keep up with others is intense. We see curated images of success, happiness, and perfection, and we start to feel like we're falling behind. But let me remind you, social media is a stage where everyone pretends to have it all together. But behind the scenes, things aren't always as perfect as they seem. Don't compare your real life to someone else's highlight reel. Constantly comparing yourself to others on social media can lead to feelings of inadequacy and dissatisfaction. It creates unrealistic expectations and distorts the way we see ourselves. But the truth is, social media doesn't show the whole picture. It only shows a sliver of someone's life. To take control of your own narrative, you need to step back and stop measuring your worth against what you see online. Limit your social media use. Focus on your own journey. Understand that your life is unique, and comparing yourself to others only holds you back. Take control of your own story. The only comparison that matters is the one you make to your past self, not to anyone else. Now is the time for you to take responsibility for your own life. Identify the external pressures that have been shaping your decisions and challenge them. It's time to stop living for someone else and start living for yourself. Break free from the fear, the judgment, and the need for approval. You are the only one who can truly decide how you live your life. The only person who knows your true potential is you. So, are you ready to take back your power? The path to living authentically starts with you taking control. It's time to live life on your own terms. The power to create the life you desire is already within you. The only question is, will you take the first step? How many times have you found yourself saying yes when you really wanted to say no? How often have you put someone else's needs ahead of your own, only to feel drained, overwhelmed, or unfulfilled? It's something we all do. We say yes because we want to help, because we don't want to disappoint others, or simply because we feel like it's expected of us. But here's the truth. Every time you say yes at the expense of your own well-being, you are saying no to your own priorities, to your health, and to your goals. Today, I want to challenge you to reconsider the power of no. Saying no isn't about being rude or selfish. It's about taking back control of your life, your time, and your energy. It's about creating space for what truly matters to you. It's time to stop letting the demands of others dictate your life. Today, you can begin the transformation by embracing the freedom that comes from learning how to say no. Saying no is one of the most powerful tools you can use to reclaim your life. Too many people live in a cycle of saying yes to everything and everyone, whether it's work, social obligations, or family expectations. The problem? Every time you say yes to someone else's request, you're saying no to your own needs, your personal goals, and your peace of mind. And let me be clear, this isn't about being selfish. It's about valuing yourself enough to make your well-being a priority. By learning to say no, you create space to focus on the things that matter most to you. You regain control over your time and energy, and you give yourself the opportunity to make decisions that align with your true goals. The myth that saying yes makes you a good person needs to be shattered. People often equate constantly pleasing others with being a good friend, a good employee, or a good family member. But let's get real, this isn't sustainable. Saying yes to everything leaves you burned out, overwhelmed, and disconnected from your own desires. The reality is, when you spread yourself too thin, you end up disappointing everyone, including yourself. Learning to say no is one of the most self-respecting things you can do. It is the key to protecting your energy, mental health, and focus. Don't let anyone else's demands dictate your life. You have the right to prioritize your own needs and well-being. Saying no is a tool to create boundaries that keep you focused on what really matters. But I get it, the thought of saying no brings up guilt for a lot of people. How many times have you felt that gut punch of guilt when turning someone down? It's common, but here's the thing, guilt is a signal, not something to fear. It's a sign that you are protecting your boundaries and standing up for yourself. The root of that guilt often comes from a fear of judgment, rejection, or conflict. But let me tell you something, this fear is holding you back from living your best life. The truth is, you don't owe anyone your time, energy, or happiness. Your life belongs to you. When you say no, you're not rejecting people. You're rejecting the idea that their needs should come before your own health and happiness. Reframe guilt as a sign that you're doing something right. You're protecting your mental space, your energy, and your peace. That is a sign of strength, not weakness. The next time you feel guilty for saying no, recognize it for what it is, a protective measure. It's time to embrace the freedom that comes from setting boundaries and making decisions that align with your personal well-being. You have the power to choose what gets your time and energy. And that power starts with saying no. So how can you start saying no without feeling guilty? First, recognize the importance of setting clear, non-negotiable boundaries. Boundaries are not walls. They are the guardrails that keep you focused on what matters. They help you preserve your energy, your time, and your mental health. You don't have to apologize for setting boundaries. It's not a matter of being rude. It's about being clear and firm. And when you say no, do so with honesty and without over-explaining yourself. You don't need to justify every decision. A simple, direct response is enough. You also need to learn how to prioritize. Not every request is urgent or important. Ask yourself, does this align with my current goals? Does this help me move closer to the life I want to live? If the answer is no, then it's okay to say no. Remember, would you rather disappoint one person temporarily or disappoint yourself forever by neglecting your own needs? The choice is yours. Saying no doesn't mean you don't care. It means you care enough to make sure that you're taking care of yourself first. Now, I know that saying no can be uncomfortable at first, but let me share a few examples of how saying no can dramatically change your life. Take someone who is constantly overwhelmed with work, saying yes to every project, every task, every demand from their boss. They're burned out, stressed, and unhappy. But the moment they start saying no to the things that don't serve them, something shifts. They begin to focus on their most important goals. They have more energy for themselves, and their work improves. They gain control over their life and start to thrive. Or think about someone who has always put others first, always saying yes to friends, family, and colleagues, while neglecting their own well-being. They might find themselves exhausted, mentally drained, and feeling disconnected from their true desires. But when they learn to say no and prioritize self-care, everything changes. They find peace, they regain their self-esteem, and they start to build stronger, more authentic relationships. Saying no frees them from the mental and emotional burden of people-pleasing. The truth is, saying no is a form of empowerment. It's a way to take control of your life and protect your happiness. And it's not just about saying no to others, it's about saying yes to yourself, your dreams, and your well-being. So here's your challenge, start today. Begin saying no in small, manageable ways. It doesn't have to be dramatic, but it does have to be firm. Prioritize your own needs, set clear boundaries, and take back control of your time. Saying no is an act of self-respect and self-preservation. It's the first step toward living a life that's aligned with your true self. Are you ready to stop living for others and start living for yourself? It starts with one simple word: no. How often do you find yourself running on empty, constantly giving and giving without ever feeling replenished? Do you feel overwhelmed, stretched thin by the endless demands of work, family, and life, all while wondering where your time and energy went? If this resonates with you, you're not alone. Many of us are caught in the cycle of being busy but never truly fulfilled. We feel drained, like there's never enough time to focus on what matters most. But here's the truth: your time and energy are your most precious resources. The good news? You have the power to reclaim them. Today, I'm going to show you how taking control of your time and energy can transform your life. This isn't about finding more hours in the day. It's about using the hours you have more wisely, protecting your energy, and putting yourself back at the center of your life. Time is fleeting, and if you don't act now, you'll continue to feel burned out and unfulfilled. But it doesn't have to be this way. Let's take back what's rightfully yours. Let me ask you something. How many times have you wished for more hours in the day? How often do you feel like there's just not enough time for everything? Here's the hard truth. Time is the one thing you can never get back. Once it's gone forever. That's why it's so crucial to treat time like the valuable resource it is. But what do we do instead? We let it slip away, consumed by distractions, obligations, and commitments that don't serve us. We feel busy, but at the end of the day, we're left wondering, what did I actually accomplish? Your time is like gold. Once it's spent, it's gone, and you can never get it back. That's why wasting it on things that don't matter, on people who drain you, or on tasks that don't align with your goals, is a dangerous habit. Every minute you spend on something that doesn't move you closer to your dreams is a minute you'll never get back. The good news is you have control. Reclaiming your time starts with protecting it fiercely. You need to learn how to say no to distractions, how to prioritize what truly matters, and how to make conscious choices about how you invest your time. It's time to stop letting other people dictate your schedule. Time isn't unlimited, so start treating it with the respect it deserves. Here's a simple reality. Time doesn't wait for anyone. You can't bank it, you can't pause it. It moves forward relentlessly, no matter what you do, and that's what makes it the most valuable resource you have. So why waste it? Why give it away to things or people that don't help you grow? Too many of us fall into the trap of being busy, but being busy doesn't necessarily mean being productive or fulfilled. How often have you caught yourself saying, I don't have enough time? But when you look back, you realize you were just caught in a cycle of non-essential tasks. The danger of wasting time is real. If you don't prioritize it, your time will be taken up by things that don't matter. Phone calls, emails, requests from others that aren't aligned with your goals, and before you know it, weeks, months, and even years pass and you're still stuck in the same place. It's time to reclaim control. You have to protect your time like it's gold. Start by making intentional choices about how you spend it. Ask yourself, does this bring me closer to my goals? Does this align with who I want to be? If the answer is no, it's time to say no and move on. Prioritizing what matters most isn't just a strategy, it's a necessity. Now let's talk about energy. Time might be irreplaceable, but your energy is just as valuable. And the truth is, many of us waste our energy on things, people, and situations that drain us. Have you ever felt completely exhausted after spending time with a person or in a situation that just didn't lift you up? That's an energy drain. It's not just about physical energy, it's about emotional, mental, and spiritual energy too. One of the most important steps in reclaiming your energy is identifying the things that drain it. This could be toxic relationships, negative environments, or habits that leave you feeling depleted. Let me tell you something, if you're constantly surrounded by negativity, you will never thrive. You can't grow when you're stuck in an environment that zaps your energy. If you don't start taking action, this will continue and you'll find yourself further and further from your goals. The key is to set boundaries. Boundaries aren't walls, they're protective measures. They allow you to say no to things and people that don't contribute positively to your life. It's hard at first, but necessary. Cutting off the toxic drains in your life can feel uncomfortable, but it's the only way to create space for the things that uplift and energize you. Now let's talk about scheduling. You control your calendar, or your calendar will control you. Have you ever found yourself looking at your to-do list, overwhelmed by how much there is to do, and feeling like you're just spinning your wheels? A chaotic schedule isn't just stressful, it's counterproductive. If your schedule is full of tasks that don't align with your values or goals, then it's time to reevaluate. Start by taking control of your schedule. Break your day into segments that prioritize activities that nurture your growth. Time map your day so that the things that matter most come first. This could mean focusing on your health, your career, or time for personal development. Once you begin scheduling with intention, you'll start to feel less overwhelmed and more focused. But it doesn't stop there. Eliminate the time suckers. Social media scrolling, unnecessary meetings, or activities that don't bring value to your life should go. The more disciplined and accountable you are with your time, the more progress you'll make. In a world that's constantly noisy, it's easy to forget the power of solitude. But alone time is not just a luxury, it's essential for self-reflection, clarity, and focus. Think about it. When was the last time you took a few moments to truly listen to your own heart? When was the last time you disconnected from the noise around you and just sat with your thoughts? Spending time alone gives you the chance to break free from the constant distractions and reconnect with your true self. It's in these quiet moments that you can gain clarity on your goals, your values, and what you truly want out of life. Alone time isn't about isolation, it's about self-connection. Make time for yourself. Whether it's through meditation, journaling, or just sitting in silence, allow yourself to focus on what matters most to you. This will help you make better decisions, prioritize your time and energy more effectively, and move forward with greater purpose. Now, I want to challenge you. Take a hard look at your habits, your relationships, and your schedule. Are they helping you reclaim your time and energy, or are they draining you? If you want to build a life that reflects your true priorities, it starts with taking back your time and energy. You're in control. By learning to protect your time, eliminate energy drains, and focus on what truly matters, you'll unlock a new level of personal growth and fulfillment. So are you ready to take control? The first step to reclaiming your life starts with taking back your time and energy today. Have you ever felt like you've been giving everything to everyone else, yet somehow you end up drained, undervalued, and unnoticed? Are you constantly putting others first, sacrificing your own happiness, and feeling guilty when you take time for yourself? If so, you're not alone. So many of us fall into this trap, thinking that by serving others, we'll find fulfillment. But here's the truth. When you don't prioritize yourself, you lose the power to live your own life. Today I'm going to show you how embracing a selfish mindset isn't about being arrogant, it's about protecting your peace, your happiness, and your future. By learning to prioritize your own needs, you'll reclaim control over your life and unlock the doors to true success and fulfillment. It's time to stop seeking approval from others and start living for yourself. The time to put yourself first is now. Think about the last time you felt completely drained. Maybe it was after a long week of putting everyone else's needs before your own. Maybe you've even felt guilty for wanting to take a break. You've likely told yourself, I should be helping others, or I don't have time for me. But let me ask you this, when you constantly neglect your own needs, where does that leave you? You end up tired, resentful, and without the energy to give to anyone, including yourself. The truth is, when you don't prioritize yourself, you're not serving anyone. You can't pour from an empty cup. But when you embrace a selfish mindset, where your well-being is non-negotiable, you create space for personal growth, happiness, and success. When you start putting yourself first, you'll begin to see how much more you have to give to the world. The best version of you can only emerge when you put your own needs at the forefront. It's time to stop sacrificing your happiness for others and start living for yourself. When we talk about being selfish, we often hear negative connotations. Selfish people are self-centered, arrogant, and unkind. But let's flip that narrative. Selfishness isn't about ignoring others or being narcissistic. It's about respecting yourself enough to protect your peace, your time, and your energy. Self-respect is at the core of personal power, and it's the foundation of a life filled with joy and fulfillment. When you respect yourself, you send a clear message to others that you won't tolerate disrespect. You teach people how to treat you, and you set the standard for how you expect to be treated. So let me tell you something, you deserve respect. And that starts with respecting yourself enough to set boundaries. Saying no when necessary, walking away from toxic situations, and standing firm in your values are all acts of self-respect. Start building your self-respect today. Make a list of the things you're willing to accept and the things you're not. When you begin to honor yourself in this way, you'll be amazed at how others begin to mirror that respect back to you. The more you respect yourself, the more powerful you become. Do you believe you're worthy of success and happiness? If your answer is no, you're not alone. Many of us struggle with self-worth. We've been conditioned to believe that our value is tied to how others see us or what we achieve. But here's the truth. Your worth doesn't come from anyone else's approval. It's inherent. If you don't believe in your own worth, why should anyone else? Lack of self-worth is often the root of self-sabotage. It leads to indecision, fear of failure, and settling for less than you deserve. You hold yourself back because deep down, you don't believe you're worthy of greatness. But when you build your self-worth from the inside out, you'll start to make decisions based on what you deserve, not what others think you deserve. Start by changing the way you talk to yourself. Replace negative self-talk with affirmations like, I am worthy of success, I deserve happiness, and I am enough as I am. Surround yourself with people who lift you up, not those who diminish your worth. Make decisions that honor your value, and soon the world will respond accordingly. Your mindset is everything. The way you see yourself and the world around you shapes every decision, every action, and every outcome. Shifting from a mindset of scarcity to one of abundance will completely change your life. When you stop focusing on what you lack and start focusing on what you have, you begin to embrace your own worth. I am worthy of success, my happiness matters, and I am enough as I am. These affirmations aren't just words, they are the foundation of a powerful mindset shift. When you start repeating these affirmations, you rewire your brain to believe them. Positive beliefs aren't just wishful thinking, they're the tools you use to break free from limiting thoughts and embrace the person you were always meant to be. But it doesn't stop there. You have to act on these beliefs. Don't just say you're worthy, show the world by taking bold steps toward your goals. Take care of yourself, put your needs first, and watch how the universe responds to your empowered actions. When you truly believe in your worth, the world opens up to you in ways you never imagined. What happens when you don't prioritize yourself? You burn out, you start to feel resentful and unappreciated, you become emotionally depleted, and eventually your dreams start to slip away. If you're not the driver of your own life, someone else will be, and they'll drive you straight into the ditch. The trap of self-sacrifice is real. Constantly putting others before yourself sounds noble, but in the long run, it only leaves you empty. You may find yourself stuck in a cycle of giving without receiving, of putting others first while your own needs pile up. This only leads to burnout, emotional exhaustion, and a life that feels out of control. But it doesn't have to be this way. You can break the cycle by learning to set firm boundaries. Saying no without guilt is one of the most powerful tools you have. It's not selfish, it's necessary. And once you start setting boundaries, you'll begin to reclaim your power, and you'll realize just how much more you have to offer. Here's the challenge. It's time to develop a selfish mindset. Start by recognizing your worth, setting boundaries, and prioritizing your own needs. The moment you stop living for others' approval and start living for yourself, everything changes. You become empowered, you start to attract the people opportunities, and experiences that align with who you are and what you deserve. The time to take control of your life is now. Reclaim your power, respect yourself, and embrace your worth. You've spent enough time putting others first, now it's your turn. Are you ready to take control of your life? The time to develop a selfish mindset is now. Begin by respecting and valuing yourself today. Have you ever felt like you're standing at the edge of something great, but you just can't take that first step? Do you find yourself overwhelmed by all the things you want to change but unsure where to start? Change can feel intimidating, even impossible, when you're stuck in the cycle of planning and waiting for the perfect moment. But let me tell you something, there is no perfect moment. The only moment you have is now. The key to creating lasting change isn't waiting for everything to fall into place, it's taking action. Today I'm going to show you how you can start making changes right now. With the right plan and mindset, you'll have the structure, the confidence, and the clarity to take charge of your life and turn your dreams into reality. If you've been waiting for a sign to take action, this is it. Stop waiting and start doing. Let's dive in. You know the feeling. You have a list of things you want to do, a life you want to create, but you don't know where to start. You feel overwhelmed by the big changes ahead. You think, if only I had more time, or if only the circumstances were perfect, I'd finally do it. Let me be clear, perfect moment will never come. You'll never have everything you need to make the change you want, but you know what you will have? The power to act. Change starts with action. And when you take action, you begin to create your own momentum. You build the confidence to push past fear and uncertainty. But here's the truth. Waiting for the perfect moment will only keep you stuck. You can keep thinking about it, or you can start today. Your roadmap to freedom begins with the first step, no matter how small it seems. Today is the day to take that step. The time for waiting is over. It's time to act, and it's time to move forward. Now let's put everything we've talked about into action. You've heard about the importance of boundaries, reclaiming your time, and saying no. You've learned that embracing a selfish mindset is about respecting yourself. But none of this matters unless you take action. Let me tell you something. The difference between knowing what to do and actually doing it is everything. You can read all the books, listen to all the podcasts, and even make a list of your goals. But if you don't take action, none of it will matter. Action is the bridge that turns your intentions into transformation. It's the fuel that keeps you moving even when things get tough. If you've been paralyzed by fear, doubt, or uncertainty, it's time to push through. Start small. Take one tiny step today and then another tomorrow. When you build this momentum, big changes become easier. Every action, no matter how small, compounds into larger results. The key is not to wait for the perfect time, but to take action now. The truth is, you're never going to feel fully ready. The perfect conditions don't exist, but action creates clarity, and with clarity comes confidence. So stop waiting. Now is the time to act. Now let's talk about how to design your action plan. The first step is breaking down your goals into clear, actionable steps. It's easy to get caught up in big, overwhelming aspirations, but big changes happen when you focus on what you can do today. Set short-term goals that get you closer to your long-term vision. Think of short-term goals as the foundation, and your long-term goals as the building. You need both to succeed. Start by asking yourself, what's the next step I can take right now? Maybe it's sending an email, making a call, or setting aside time for yourself. These small, actionable steps add up to big results over time. Here's the trick. Take that first step, no matter how small. It's the only way forward. And when you hit those short-term goals, celebrate them. They're the building blocks of your success. Keep your long-term vision in mind, but focus on the next step in front of you. As you continue, remember to track your progress. Set checkpoints, reassess your goals, and make adjustments if needed. The journey is just as important as the destination. And as you keep moving forward, your goals will become clearer, your path more defined. The people around you will either lift you up or hold you back. It's as simple as that. Who in your life is challenging you to be better, pushing you to take action, and supporting your growth? And who is holding you back, whether intentionally or unintentionally? Accountability is the secret weapon to achieving your goals. When you have people in your corner holding you to your highest standards, you become more committed to your actions. Find those people, the ones who believe in you, challenge your limiting beliefs, and encourage your growth. Surround yourself with a circle that pushes you to take action and holds you accountable for your progress. But there's another side to this coin. Let go of the toxic people in your life. The ones who drain your energy, who make you question your worth, or who hold you back. You need a circle of support that lifts you higher, not one that keeps you stuck. Surround yourself with people who inspire you. Create a circle of empowerment and watch how much more you can achieve. I know it can be easy to focus on what's not working, but here's the thing. Every step forward is a victory. Whether you've made a huge leap or taken a tiny step, it all matters. Celebrating small wins is crucial to maintaining momentum and building confidence. Every time you accomplish something, No matter how small, you're reinforcing the habits that will get you closer to your goals. Don't wait until you've arrived. Celebrate the journey, celebrate the steps you've taken and the progress you've made. When you acknowledge even the smallest victories, you shift your focus from what's not working to what is. And that shift is powerful. It keeps you motivated and on track. Use each small win as fuel to keep going. It's like building a fire. You add a little wood, then another piece, and before you know it, you've created a blaze. Keep fueling that fire with gratitude and acknowledgement. The more you celebrate your progress, the more momentum you'll build. Now is your time. The time to take control of your life. The time to stop waiting for things to change and start making them happen. You have the power to create the life you want, but it starts with action. Take the steps, no matter how small, and start building momentum today. You are in control of your future. Every decision you make to take action brings you one step closer to the life you've been dreaming about. So I ask you this, are you ready to stop waiting and start making it happen? The time is now. Take action today and start living on your terms. Have you ever felt like life is happening to you instead of you making it happen? Do you feel like circumstances, people, or even your own fear are holding you back from living the life you truly want? I want to tell you something important. The power to transform your life is already inside you. It has always been inside you. The problem isn't a lack of potential, it's the belief that change is something that happens to you, not something you can actively create. Today is your turning point. Right now, in this moment, you have the ability to take control of your life and begin shaping your future. All it takes is a decision. You don't need permission from anyone else. You don't need everything to be perfect. All you need is the belief that you can make it happen. In this speech, I'm going to remind you of the core principles that will put you back in the driver's seat of your life, and I'm going to challenge you to take action. No more waiting, no more excuses. Let's take back what's rightfully yours, the power to live on your own terms. You are the master of your own destiny. Let me say that again. You are the master of your own destiny. The truth is, you've always had the power to shape your future. But somewhere along the way, many of us hand that power over to others, whether it's to society, to family, or even to our own fears. When you live your life based on someone else's rules, you're giving away your freedom. Every time you let someone else dictate your decisions, or let fear control your actions, you lose a little bit of yourself. And before you know it, your life becomes a reflection of someone else's choices, not your own. But here's the thing, the moment you stop letting others control your life is the moment you take back your power. It's time to stop waiting for others to give you permission to be the person you know you're meant to be. It's time to stop seeking approval from the outside world and start trusting yourself. Change doesn't happen just because you know what you should do. It happens when you actually do it. The simple act of taking ownership of your life is what begins to shift everything. You've heard the saying, if you want something different, you have to do something different. That means every decision you make, every step you take, should be a conscious one. Your life is shaped by your choices, and it's those choices made every single day that will create the future you want. Are you going to let fear, doubt, or anyone else control your story? Or are you ready to take ownership of your life and start living with purpose? Now, let's face the truth about change. It's not going to be easy. Change requires discomfort. Change means stepping out of what's familiar and into the unknown. But here's what I want you to know. That discomfort is a sign of growth. When you push past fear, when you push past uncertainty, you're moving toward a better version of yourself. And here's another truth. Selfishness is self-respect. Many people think that putting themselves first is selfish in a bad way. But the truth is, prioritizing your own needs, your own goals, your own future is not only okay, it's necessary. How can you give to others when you haven't first given to yourself? How can you pour from an empty cup? Now I want to ask you, are you ready to make that change? Are you ready to be selfish and take control of your own life? If you want to create lasting change, you need to stop making excuses. You need to stop waiting for the perfect moment, because there's no such thing. The truth is, the best time to start is right now. What's holding you back? Is it fear of failure? Fear of judgment? Or are you afraid that if you take action, you might not succeed? Here's the thing, the only failure is not trying. The only way to guarantee nothing changes is to keep doing nothing. So I'm challenging you, stop letting your fears run the show. Stop making excuses. Start right now. The power of now is real. Every moment you waste waiting for the perfect moment is a moment you could have used to start taking action. The time for action is now. No more waiting. No more overthinking. No more wondering if you're ready, because you are. Your future begins the moment you decide to take control of it. Start living for yourself. Your future is in your hands. Make it one worth living. This is your time to step up. You don't need anyone's permission. You don't need to wait for the stars to align. The only thing standing between you and the life you want is the decision to take that first step. Every step you take today, no matter how small, will get you closer to the life you want. So let's go. Take that first step. Start today and begin building the future you deserve. You've got this.